I have some predictions when it comes to sales for 2025, and I believe that some of these are probably going to be contrary to what you probably would think that I would say as a sales guy. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode, I want to tell you about some of the predictions that I foresee when it comes to sales in 2025. If this is your first time listening to my podcast, thank you for being here. But go ahead and subscribe so I can notify you every single time we have a new piece of content, or follow. If you've listened to the show for a while, this is the beginning of the year. I ask you, if you haven't given me a Christmas gift yet, please take that link for this episode and share it with one other person. Tell them why you like the podcast. Don't send it to 1,000 people. Just go ahead and tell one other individual why you like the podcast and why they should listen. That would mean the world to me, and I would appreciate that. So let's dive into this. Talk about predictions for 2025. I'm going to go straight into it. One of the biggest predictions that I find is that more and more companies are going to see an increased usage of AI. Plain and simple. We're going to find more and more of you out there taking advantage of it. For 2024, we saw people adopting it, but we're going to see a higher increase. Now, it's not necessarily all of the things that's going to be AI driven, such as only writing my emails or things like that. But we're going to see it more in CRMs. We're seeing this in tools, in some of the major tools out there where they have different engagement capabilities. Now, this has been really helpful, and I've worked with some of these CRMs and seeing inside of the tools how much more it make the sales rep effective. It's amazing. Like the research component and being able to get me information so I can be relevant as I talk to a prospect, game changing. And I think that's fabulous and awesome. And you're going to see more and more of that. Also, you're going to see more increase in people experimenting with AI doing the actual calls for you. You've heard about tools where companies are having an AI do phone calls, and they're sounding pretty legit. And I feel that we're going to see more and more of that, where more buyers are going to, more companies are going to be experimenting with it. Now, this all sounds great and all, and we're going to see a more increase in automation where people are going to utilize AI to send out more emails or to be more efficient try to scale their organization. And there's going to be AI built into stuff that you don't even realize that's being powered by AI to help make your experience so much better. So granted, you're going to see a lot of that when it comes into 2025. We're just going to see an increase. So that's number one. Number two, you're going to see people boycott AI in 2025. Now, let me explain. Again, this is one I told you, you're probably going to not believe me saying this as a sales guy. I feel that because we're going to see such an increase, and this is just pure basic human logics, because we're going to see such a human behavior, we're going to see such a big increase on the output side from you and me utilizing AI more. We're going to find that more buyers are going to get disenchanted with our emails, or they're going to get not so they're going to feel that it's not that engaging towards them, and they're going to boycott or push against that. Let me give you some stats here to substantiate my claim. So this comes from some data source. This was from some Market Interactive's data. It says there's a negative perception. Over half of consumers, 55%, perceive AI-generated communication negatively, and they cite the lack of authenticity or transparency. With an industry like ours already, where they feel they feel that most salespeople are not authentic or they're deceptive, and there's no transparency. Now we're giving them more and more usage of AI, and they're already 55% of them already feels this way. What do you think they're going to feel if we go and double down on that? And this is why I talked about it in my past episode, a couple episodes ago, on the 3rd, I believe, about this idea of us bringing that human-to-human interaction back, and also making sure that when we are sharing content, we're making our emails simpler. Like, people they want to connect with you, because there's this wide chasm that's going to be created where we're trying to be more efficient, and we're putting out way more content, AI content. Our viewers, our buyers, the people like you and me, we are going to crave and demand more of, we're going to miss it. And we're going to see more and more people want that. So while we are going this way with AI and our buyers and experiences are going this way, we're going to see the few that will recognize it and pivot and go to a more that human connection and try to win over some of those folks that try to curve that AI experience. I'm telling you, that's my personal feeling. I'm feel strong on this, and this is how we're doing it internally. Yes, we're taking advantage of AI. We're using AI to give us intel and information so that we can double down, but we're taking advantage of more experiences, that human to human experience. And I feel that, so from one, events, from two, like our communication, to this is like a next level personalization, right? We're not going to get as many of those emails to our focus accounts out, but we're going to see that we have more high quality touch points with those accounts. And now another point that I find that's going to be very helpful to make this happen when it comes to prospecting, my third prediction is that we're going to see an old school renaissance to networking. I started talking about this in Q4, but I'm telling you, more and more, I'm seeing this all over and over again. Here's some other things that I find is that AI generated advertisement are often viewed as less engaging and as with descriptions such as annoying, boring, consuming, confusing, and potentially leading to a negative brand perception. So all of those things cause that people are craving that human to human interaction. And I feel the old school networking is going to come back, where, again, tie it back to point number two, this authenticity. I will believe if Jermaine gave me an introduction to Marcy, or I can believe Jermaine's messaging toward about, about how amazing, Marcy and her company is. Like, I'll take that because I trust Jermaine. He's a friend. He's somebody that I know and I engage with, as opposed to this just a cold AI generated email or even a cold interaction with AI. I just don't feel in our society we're there yet. Maybe one more generation that, and we see this increase too. The Gen Z doesn't mind it. Actually, the data says um, with the younger generation, 85% being the most inclined to take advantage of these messaging. So if you're going after Gen Zs, by all means, but the boomers, and we have the millennials and the Gen Xers, like that group of people, those ones in the workforce, you probably want to take advantage of that human to human interaction experience. And that's where networking comes from on LinkedIn. That's where you're getting the referrals. That's where you're getting the engagement from people. We have not seen that for so long. And I feel that we're doing this generational, shift in the AI, in the workspace, where we're going back to some of those things that LinkedIn was first for. Like, for instance, employers, previous employees introducing people into companies. These are some stuff you find in Sales Navigator. Finding path inside organization, people who may be able to engage with, to connect with other people. Now, we don't see that all the time because of the simple fact that we connect with a lot of people nowadays, but those opportunities are going to be more, I feel, more prevalent. And I've seen more and more people have asked for those introductions recently, which is fascinating, because I feel, again, those are some of those things that work. Some of my best deals are from referrals, and you know this too. You've seen this in your world. But how do we scale that? Don't try to. Just be human and just interact with people. You can set goals for sure. And one of the things that I tell sellers, and I've always told you this, and I've told you time and time again, I talked about this in one of my past episodes. Ask everyone. When you do a cold call, you don't get a hold of that person may not be interested. Ask who else they know that may be able to be interested based on a value prop that you just drop. And if it's hyper personalized towards that industry, they'll be able to resonate and connect you with people potentially. I've seen that to work. So I'm going back on that again. Number three, you're going to see this rise of that old school, that networking event, and referrals. Referrals are going to be important. Number four, this one is one that I've experienced a couple of times this year, several times this year, in-person events. In-person events. I'm going to read you some data, and we're going to camp out here. Increase attendance. Over half of event organizers, 52.1%, have reported a rise in attendance at in-person events over the past year. That's important. Over half of them are seeing an increase. Future planning. A significant majority, 86% of organizers plan to maintain or increase the number of in-person events in 2024 than they did in 2023. So they saw, based on the data over the years, that this stuff is increasing. And you're going to see this number continue to increase in 2025. Approximately 65% of companies worldwide have reported an increase in event spending, indicating a strong commitment to in-person events. So companies are doing it. Global events industry is projected to grow at a compound annual rate of 11% potentially, and to exceed 1.5 trillion by 2028. Final one that I saw: attendee preferences. Substantial 82% of attendees express a preference for attending in-person event, underscoring the enduring value of face-to-face interaction. And that piece right there, I'm telling you, because we're doing so much with AI, we're going to miss out on this, and we're going to see an increase for that. I'll give you an example. This year I went to an event with one of our clients, and they got some very good deals that entered into their pipeline from it. But the interaction, it was beneficial for the team, because the team had been living remote and serving remote, but they got a chance to interact and be in person. They found out how they can work with each other. So the leadership team was able to understand the dynamics of the individuals. There was a different dynamics in person than remotely. And then also the clients, they were so appreciative, and they had really good deals that came in, because these folks were able to get that live demo, to be able to see and to get interaction, to get conversation with the folks that really matter, as opposed to just sending an email in and doing watching a YouTube or automated demo. Like these experiences just made it so much more effective for them. And there's a sense of there's the machine out there, AI, and then there's the human, and we like the human. I'm telling you right now, in this era, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see more of that, and people want more of that. That's my prediction for it. And the final thing that I'll tell you that I see when it comes to 2025 is that people are going to use LinkedIn more for the comments as well. We're going to see the rise of the comments. We've seen rise of like the voice messages and videos, but this year in videos, we're going to see more of commenting. And what I mean is that more people are going to spend more time engaging in the comments section, because that gives them more human-to-human connection, kind of like that Reddit feel, but also gives an opportunity for you to stand out. So I talked about this the other day, but those are my 5 things. I would love to hear from you. Which one of those, if you think my predictions are too wonky or too far out there, it doesn't make sense, you can find me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly. Let me know your thoughts. Can't wait to hear from you. As always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to be able to make some money. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking, go out and do big things. I'll see you on the next one.